Have you ever noticed how some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others can barely keep up with their bills? Has that ever crossed your mind? Trust me, it's crossed mine too. But here's the thing, it's not some big secret. There's actually a way to get money coming to you just like it does for the wealthy. And it's not as complicated as you might think. Rich people have simply picked up a certain mindset, either through what they were taught or how they grew up, that basically makes them a magnet for money. So today, I'm going to walk you through some simple habits you can start using right now that will flip the script and have money chasing you instead of you always feeling like you're running short. Now, I'm not just talking from the outside looking in. I used to be one of those people who could barely scrape by. I've lived on both sides of this. There was a time when money was tight, nothing was coming in the way I needed, and I was sitting on $40,000 worth of debt. That was a really scary place to be. But today, I'm in a position where more money shows up than I can even use. And I'm telling you, applying these habits changed everything for me. I strongly encourage you to try them. And hey, if you've already tried some of these things and they've worked for you, drop a comment below. Or, if you've got your own tricks that have helped you attract more money, share those too. We're all in this together, trying to figure out how to live in real abundance. I'd love to read your stories, and so would everyone else watching. Okay, so the very first thing you need to work on if you want money to start chasing you is appreciation. Now, I know in the law of attraction space, we talk about gratitude all the time. But here's what actually happens with most people who are struggling financially. It's genuinely hard to feel thankful when you're behind on bills, or when you feel like life isn't giving you a fair shot. And it gets even harder when you look around and see other people doing really well while you feel stuck. I totally get that. I lived that. So here's a little trick I figured out that helped me through exactly that problem. And if you're having a tough time feeling grateful for what you have financially, this is going to be really useful. It's not a trick or a play on words. It's actually the truth. It might not feel true in the moment, but it is. And the more you say it, the more money will start flowing your way. The statement is this: I always have more than enough. I always have more than enough. I always have more than enough. Why is this true? Because you're still here. You've been getting by this whole time. Whether that's been 20 years, 30 years, 43 years, you've made it through every single time. That means you've always had enough to survive. So yes, you always have more than enough. Maybe not as much as you want, but more than enough to get by. And that distinction matters a lot when it comes to the law of attraction, because the energy behind those words is, there's always more coming. There's always enough. And the law of attraction responds directly to what you repeatedly think and say. So the next time a bill lands in your inbox and your stomach drops, take a breath and remind yourself, I always have more than enough. I've been making it work for 43 years. Obviously, there's always been enough. That's what I started doing. Grocery run? I always have more than enough. Big expense coming up? I always have more than enough. And you know what happened? Every time I spent money, somehow more came back. More than I even needed. The universe was literally responding to what I was saying out loud and in my head. This is all about appreciation. Recognizing that you are being supported, that resources are available to you, and that you want more of that to keep growing. Because what you appreciate truly does expand. So use that phrase as much as possible throughout your day. Now, before I give you the next tip, if you enjoy law of attraction content that shows you how to actually build the life you want, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and tap that notification bell. I put out new content every single week, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. Alright, here's another really fun habit that will get money chasing you. The last one I shared was about building a daily habit with your words. This next one is also a habit, and it's one I picked up a long time ago. I still do it today, and it has worked incredibly well for me. This one is all about how you relate to spending money. Here's something I noticed about myself and a lot of other people trying to attract more wealth. When we don't feel abundant, we start having what I call hoarding fantasies.
What do I mean by that?
I mean that we get obsessed with watching numbers build up in our bank account. Once I hit $100,000. Once I have $1 million. Once I've saved enough to retire. Have you ever caught yourself dreaming about opening your banking app and seeing some huge number? If that sounds familiar, go ahead and share that below. I'd genuinely love to know. And look, There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to grow your savings. Nothing at all. But what often comes along with that mindset is this fear of spending. People think, I can't let any money go. I need to hold on to every dollar, so those numbers keep going up. And that way of thinking actually pushes money away. Here's why. Money wants to move. It wants to be spent. It has a purpose, and when you're gripping it so tight that it can't circulate, you stall out its energy and you stall out your ability to attract more of it. So here's the fun part. Back when I was $40,000 in debt, I didn't have extra money lying around to just toss at things. But I found a little game that puts you in the feeling of spending without you actually having to spend a dime. And even now that I do have money and I do spend it, I still play this game because it's just that powerful. Here's how it works. You grab some cash, maybe a $20 bill, maybe a $100 bill. If you can get your hands on a $100 bill, go for it. The bigger the amount, the better, because the more you'll be able to play with it in your mind. You keep this money. You don't actually spend it. But throughout the day, every time you think of something you'd like to buy, if the amount in your hand could cover it, you spend it in your imagination. For example, right now in my office, I've got $700 sitting out in a particular spot. That same $700 has been sitting there for probably 2 or 3 years. And whenever I think of something I want to buy for my business, some new software, a camera, whatever, I look at that money and I say in my mind, I could buy that right now. I'm buying it right now in my head. Maybe it's a $400 software subscription. I look at that $700 and I say, done, I just bought it. And here's the wild part. That $700 is probably the best investment I've ever made because somehow I always find a way to actually buy what I need for my business without ever touching that $700. Not once. This game works because it pulls you out of the I have to hold on to everything mindset and puts you into I can afford this, I can afford that energy. You can spend that same money over and over again in your mind throughout the day. And each time you do, you're sending that same powerful message to the universe. I always have more than enough. The actual act of spending real money and letting it circulate is also great for attracting more back, but it really comes down to the feeling and the energy behind it. If you can recreate that feeling in your mind by imagining buying something you genuinely have the money for, you're vibrationally repeating that first mantra all day long. And money responds to that. Now, if you love learning practical ways to improve your life and attract real abundance, subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon, so you can get updated. Thanks so much for watching today.